welcome back to another episode of Will It Develop. I'm Jerry with the Celluloid Collective, and today we are going to be talking about our long-awaited Aerochrome. So I know that the canister isn't very exciting. The labels are on the way, so I'll kind of drop a picture of that in the corner, and so they'll be on our website and everything like that. But so I want to thank you all for your patience as we went through all of this. And so today we're going to talk about the Aerochrome, talk about the different ways that it can be developed and the things that you can do with it, and then show you some sample images and go through the whole process of developing and scanning and inverting. And then I have some actual prints here that we're going to go through here in just a second. Towards the end of the video. So first and foremost, Aerochrome is an older stock. It is no longer made. If you've probably seen some of the history, you'll see some of the things that it was used for back in the day, including some war photography and things like that. And so what it actually does, it is a reversal film, and so you can do slides out of it. And so you'll see on our Instagram we have a couple of photos of that, of the actual slides. Something to keep in mind with the slides, if you're doing a traditional E6 development, you will have to kind of hit your exposure perfectly. So if you do grab a roll of this film, there's going to be a limited supply of them, but if you grab them over on our website, you'll see a whole, we've done tons of extensive research on all of this, and we have a whole kind of breakdown of how to develop different ISOs you should use for different filters and things like that. And so we'll have all of that over there on the website, so you can definitely check that out. But today what we're going to do is, as some of you may have seen from the other Will It Develop series, is I am working on photographing my entire neighborhood using all these expired stocks. And so far we have about 10 of them up there. They're bringing the film back from the dead, and I'm going through all of them and basically seeing what can happen. If you watched a couple of weeks ago, I heard your notes, so I'm going to do something with it, but this was the gaff that we did from a couple of weeks ago. Semi-worked, definitely didn't at all, but I'm gonna do something cool with this. So check out our Instagram, and I'll have some things over there in a couple of weeks. I'm gonna experiment with what I could actually do with that, see if I can make something else, maybe put cyanotypes on the clear base, see if we can do a contact strip. I don't know, I'm feeling a little funky with it, so excuse me. So today what we're going to talk about, I am going to shoot this in a half-frame camera that has basically minimal controls. You can change the ISO, you can change the shutter speed. You can go in and change the f-stop and everything like that, but it has an internal meter, and I kind of, when I was looking up how to photograph the Aerochrome, I'm in LA right now. Some of the photos you're going to see are from New York. LA just had a lot of rain, and so everything's very, very green. New York, not so much. They've had a lot of snow and a lot of cold weather, and nothing's really in bloom yet. And but one of the things to consider is that when you're using, we're going to use a yellow filter today. This is a yellow 15. And that's going to augment the green in different ways. So you'll see on our website you can try different filters. We encourage you to experiment. You can also try it without a filter, and you'll see we'll have some sample images of that as well. And so it does some wonky things to the sky and stuff like that. But what else to cover here? So we're going to use this Olympus Pen EE, the EES, and so this is a half-frame camera. And so part of this is because I wanted to test and I wanted to get a couple extra frames. So one of our goals with this was we're going to do 24 exposures, make it a little less expensive. As you'll see, some places are charging astronomical prices for this film stock, and so we wanted to make it where you could actually shoot it and all those kind of things. So let's jump into it, and we'll go through what we're going to shoot today. So like I said, we're going to use the Olympus Pen EES, and this is a half-frame camera. So if I open this up, if you haven't shot half-frame before, I'd check it out. And so you can pick these cameras up. I think I picked this camera up for like $5 at a thrift store. So it was. Yeah, it was hidden in a drawer. I opened up a drawer of like a kind of like like a dresser drawer or a cabinet bureau, and inside of it was in there. The shutter worked and everything like that, and so I offered him a couple bucks, and I ended up with it. So we'll see. We have half frame. So this one does half frame vertically. Some of them will do them in kind of like in landscape orientation. This is a portrait oriented version. And so film goes right here. Our pickup spool, everything is there. And then like I was saying, on the bottom here and on the top, you'll see that there's like ISO ranges that kind of go around. Let me see if I can get that to load really quick there. So you'll see that we have like some ISO and f-stop ranges that are in there. So that's kind of what you're changing. Another thing to keep in mind is this is kind of a bracketed focus. So on the side here, it's hard to see with the camera, but you'll see like a little mountain range. You'll see a little flower. So those are going to be for your deep and shallow focus. And you can check out the manual and get the range for all of those things. When we're doing this, consider that, because we're going to be using a filter that goes over the top of everything. We couldn't find this filter. This filter's in a half size. This filter's actually in a half size too. But now that we had this, we could actually go in there and I could kind of get this filter on the top of it after I check off my UV filter. So let's screw that off. So now the UV filter, and the reason I wanted to do this is because this is the actual light meter, and I wanted it to kind of take everything. So I'm just going to tape that on the front and it'll be there so we can use it. I will not be opening the Aerochrome in this bright room, so this is a very sensitive film stock, and so when you're picking that up, that's why we're going to put it in black canisters. Also, you'll see when you purchase it, there's just a little bit of the leader sticking out. We want to keep as much of it in there as possible. One of the fun things about this as well with a half frame is it doesn't have a huge pickup. So you can get it onto the pickup spool really fast and then it won't waste as many frames. So you might actually get an extra frame here or there. And so with that being said, I'm going to go load it up in kind of a little bit darker room than this one, and I will be right back. So we're back, and so what I'm going to do, I'll do this kind of all off camera, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to affix this to the front, kind of get it taped on there so it's centered, so this is coming through. Each one of them is a little bit different, so check out our website, you'll see a whole page with all this information. So now that that's going to be on there, then we would just advance. I would advance till I get to my first image, and I'm going to go out and take some photos. I am putting together a book of all these expired films, and so today what I'm going to try to capture is just like the neighborhood with everything blooming. So it is my hope that with this filter, I'll get some red, I'll get those shifts and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go jump out there and I will be right back. So just got back from taking some photos. Everything seemed to work pretty fine. I think I might have got some extra frames, which is fun. It kept advancing past 48. So remember, I'm half frame, so 24 is 48. But I think I got a little bit more than that. So we're going to get them scanned in and check them out. So, but one thing that is really cool about it, let me show you, is because of that yellow filter and everything, you'll see that the negative is all blue, which is kind of wild since everything is reversed. So you'll see everything kind of came out really, really good. Edge markings are great, nothing peeled, nothing broke, anything like that. But you'll see what I was talking about earlier with a half frame camera, the leader is pretty short, so I actually ended up with another frame or two. So we'll get these scanned in and let's check them out. All right, so went ahead and got some prints, got a couple 4x6s here, so we're gonna look at these, and then you'll see all the full res scans on our website and on Instagram, so that you can check them out and see if it works for you. So once again, something to think about. These are half frame, so these ones are gonna be a little lower resolution than what you're used to. Oops, sorry, I might have snuck out of the frame there. It might be a little lower resolution than you're used to. So for me, the resolution wasn't important, it was more about the experience of going out and capturing what I wanted to capture with it. I love this little camera, and so it fits in my pocket. I get a lot more frames than normal, and the glass is pretty sharp when you do it right. So I messed up and I had the focus for portraits. So you'll see that some of these got a little soft in focus, but it also has like this kind of weird dreamy effect, especially with the fact that everything that's green is augmented to red. And so with that in mind, I'm really not mad. So sometimes there's some happy accidents, but that all happened because I had to tape the filter on top of the lens, and you actually rotate the lens for the focus here, so it was kind of hidden underneath, and I just I made a mistake, and so but I don't hate it. So yeah, let's just check what we have. So for some of you that are coming for the first time, you might realize that, let me focus that up really quick. I play around with a lot of kind of like shutter drag stuff. I really like that. And so when I wanted to play, because I've never shot Aerochrome, this is the very first time. And so one of the things that I wanted to play with was how do the reds and all those kind of things kind of augment. So this was one that I was kind of playing with at a really slow shutter speed, and I kind of put it up in just like a kind of a bushel of I think it was aloe, and then kind of like moved it really fast past. So it also did some stuff like I think the chemicals might have sat in a weird way, because there's a little line on one other frame you'll see here in a second, but pretty cool. Okay, our my self-portrait here. So shirt wasn't red, which was cool, but you can see all what's happening back here in the trees. Everything's starting to go red, which is pretty cool. Also, I'm wearing like polarized glasses, and the filters, like the lenses themselves, started to do that a little bit. But this is one of the ones that the focus is perfect, because I had it on portrait, which was great. I really like this one, especially since it ended up kind of out of focus. I was just right out of that range. But you can see when it starts to go, I took all these around like, I think it was like 4-ish. So I took them during my dog walk. So the sun was starting to set, not completely set. So we have been told, and some of our other tests have been with like direct sunlight, kind of higher noon. So you might want to play with that. It's going to have harder shadows and everything, but it all kind of depends on how the light hits the different greens and all those kind of things. You can see that the sky does like some cool things. You'll see that here in a minute, whenever. But yeah, I really like this one. You'll also see with each one of them, there's a little bit of a difference in how the red renders. So this is my dog, but you can see that like when it's a little underexposed, the red goes a different. When the sun hits it perfectly, it's a little different. And so definitely play around. And but yeah, this is also all in C41. So we have some E6 ones as well. With C41, you have a little bit more latitude with the image and with the negative. So overexposed, underexposed, you can get a little bit closer. E6, you got to be kind of tack sharp. You only get a kind of like a 2-stop range before things start to go a little wonky. So yeah, this one was really fun, because like the sun was now really setting really low. You can see how long the shadows are, and so the sky went like completely black. But this was the other one I was talking about. There's like a little strip here, and it feels like maybe the chemicals just sat for a little bit longer. But yeah, everything's doing what it needs to do. You can see that the black car like almost completely disappears because of that filter, which is pretty interesting. This is another good one with the shutter drag. So I don't know, I really liked knowing that the reds were going to do interesting things. I thought it'd be cool to play around with that. This one didn't really get any of the red, but I did kind of like that. And it looks like I was also trying to block the lens flare there, and that's actually my hand. But I think it's been fun printing these, because you don't really ever see your work printed. So I suggest you print them. There's some inexpensive printers out there, and paper isn't that expensive, and especially for this, if you're printing in a darkroom, it gets a little bit more expensive. But and here were the last two that came out pretty well. I don't know, I really like this one. This was like the top of, I believe, like there's like a banana tree in my neighborhood, and so it had like these green kind of leaves coming off the top of it. I think that's from that. And then this one was just I really liked, because the sun was setting, and this was in like a driveway, so the bushes were up above the driveway, only catching it. And I was like, now knowing that this was going to go basically black at the end was pretty cool. So we'll put up the full images over on our Instagram. We'll put a couple of them here at the end when we're editing, like a little B-roll of that. And so and then you can head over to our website, and you can grab a roll of Aerochrome. So we will be getting a small batch in this time around, so you can place a pre-order. You can also just sign up if it says it's sold out to get notified when it comes back in. But we're expecting to have, you know, at least 50 to 100 rolls over the next couple of weeks that will be available. So hopefully we can get that out to you in this small batch that we found. with all these tests and everything like that. Also had some people asking about our t-shirts and everything like that, so you can head over to tccfilm.com into our store. We have a bunch of new designs over there, hoodies and darkroom aprons and things like that, beanies, so you can pick one of those up, grab a new roll of film stock, and check it out. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this. Shooting Aerochrome for the first time was a pretty wild experience. I've been wanting to do it for a long time, and so we're really happy that we're able to get a roll to you if you're looking for it. So head over to the Celluloid Collective, grab a roll, and have fun out there. We'll see you next time.